Well, hello everybody out there, and welcome to the Coach for Life Huddle Roundtable. This is the first installment of many that will be taking place. I'm Coach Marsh, and I'll be joined in a few minutes by a few of my guests. And so you're probably wondering, like, who is this guy and how is he even getting started with this and what made him want to do it? Well, it's based on the people that you see down below me down here. These group of people that have helped me and supported me along the way. And while I don't have any sponsors for the show, I definitely have these great supporters. And it starts with a guy by the name of Norbcam. If you follow him, he is the biggest 12 out there, the biggest Seattle Seahawk fan, just has great energy. So he invited me about 3 months ago to come on to his program and do a coach's corner and just look at some things. And so that evolved into a neat show, and then he involved me with his round table, and that got me going as well. So just a lot of fun stuff there. And then I got to meet DJ Squabo and Steezy and Seahawks Martin and Brian Abker and just some other great guests. So I decided, what the heck, why wait 2 or 3 years? By that time, I'll be getting my AARP card, as DJ Squabo likes to say, and I'll be doing things that, I don't want to do. So I decided, what the heck, let's just take a jump at it. And I coached for nearly 28 years. And I say nearly because I had an illness that I'll talk about on some other episode, but just 28 wonderful years with a lot of great people. So this is my chance to give back. Had a great career, had a fun time, coached about 3,000 kids, started 3 different junior football programs, coached the high school level. My mentor, Sherman Smith, played for the Seattle Seahawks before he became a high school coach, where he was my offensive coordinator, my position coach. And then when I went off to play college football, he went off to college and then went off to coaching college. Then he went to the NFL, and he ended up there for 22 years. And then his last few years were with the Seattle Seahawks, coaching a guy by the name of Beast Mode and some other things. And the connection is that his son, Dylan McCullough, is the running backs coach for the Kansas City Chiefs, who are playing in a big game this weekend. So that's enough about me. We're going to move on to a few other neat things. But I do want to start by, again, thanking someone who's been a lot of help to me. And if you had a chance last night to see Norb's special, the Norbcam piece that he put together with regards to life through the lens of a 12. For those of you who aren't around Seattle football, we call ourselves the 12s because we're the craziest fans out there, and we get loud and we get rabid and everything else. But Norb is about as crazy as it gets. And I've known him for the better part of 25 years, him and his business partner, because they did their highlight videos for us. They did highlight videos for our football team, some of the best in the country. But last night, he put together one of the greatest videos I have ever seen, to the point that I had tears coming down my face. I had other people that were watching it, and I was calling them afterwards, and they were excited and jazzed about it. So I had to do a kind of a promo for him. So you're going to see him all throughout the show in terms of his logos and everything else, just because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have the energy I have right now for coming back and be a part of the game that was so special to me, and the opportunities I've had to look at other things through a lens of being a coach and going out and talking to people again and being excited and getting back on some football boards and talking to college coaches and NFL coaches, stuff I hadn't done for a couple years, and especially with what we're going on in the world. So I hope tonight you have a little bit of fun. Who knows how long it's going to go. Again, this is the maiden voyage, but enough about me and enough about Norbcam. But at the same time, I do want you to check out the video if you go over to his channel and subscribe to him and the other people I'm talking about, because this is not about me. I'm not even going to tell you what to smash or what to do or all those different things. I want others to succeed. My time will come, but tonight is a celebration of other people as I launch this channel and some other things there. So with that, I want to bring in the 4 guys that I invited on. Now, before I bring them on, I think it's important to know a couple things. First of all, they are big Norbcam fans. That's how I met them. I met them through the Norbcam fan, the fan base, the channel, those type of things. And when I saw that these guys were just absolutely amped, not just for Norb, but for Seahawks football, I was like, okay, if I'm going to do something, and the fact that I've worked with kids my whole life, and I've worked with teenagers my whole life, and I've worked with college kids, and I've even had a chance to work with some NFL guys, I knew exactly what age bracket I wanted to bring on. And I think it speaks also to the fact that, we work in a world now where younger people are smarter than older people. And so if we're going to jump onto YouTube and social media and these other things, I wanted to find the people that I thought would bring the energy and keep me young and keep me vested in this game. So that's why I found 4 young men that I think are wise beyond their years. They bring tremendous football IQ, but I'm also a guy that has, I'm a wise guy from a standpoint of, I've been around the block for a while, but they know so much stuff. So when you see their faces and you try to guess their ages or what have you, don't judge a book by its cover. because I'm here to tell you that these guys are going to bring something special to the table. That's why I'm so excited. They put a lot of work in, some preparation, to get things ready to go. And I was lucky when I was younger that, as a 21-year-old to have a chance to go on to be a coach, and then at 24 years old to be named as a head football coach and to continue to move on. If people would have looked at me because of my age, what I was doing, I wouldn't have had the chances that I had to meet some great people. So I'm going to bring on our 4 guests now. They are 4 guests who you may recognize the name if you're Norbcam fans, and there'll be other opportunities for people to join the program. But I just felt like these 4 were the guys that I wanted to start with. I had a chance to see them be on Norb's show a few times, and they just brought tremendous energy. And the first person to connect with me is up in the top right-hand corner, and that's Rxin. He goes by Rain, the Rain Man. Those of you guys who have been around Seattle know my favorite guy was the Rain Man, back in the days of Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. But here's what's cool about these 4. They aren't just 12s and they're not just big Seattle Seahawk fans, but these 4 guys stretch across the country. And I'm not going to say who's from exactly where, but we've got Seattle represented, and in terms of Washington, we have Ohio represented here, we have New York represented here, and we have Virginia represented here. And then I've got other people I've been talking to that are same age bracket that want to come onto the round table. They're Texas, one's from Austin, home of Friday Night Lights, one's from California. So I think again, this is all attributed to Norb and what he's done from a global aspect, but I think it also speaks to the 12s and to the Seahawks fans and just how much the bandwagon that is people that jump onto a team. It's so much better when you jump onto the Seattle Seahawks team, because there's just something special about Seattle. And I'm sure people come in the super chat and rip on that comment or what have you. I don't care. I'm a Seahawks fan through and through. See, we've had season tickets in the family since day one. Remember going to the Kingdom. But these are the guys that are going to continue the 12 tradition. They're going to continue bringing things, the wave and all those other things. And they know their history. They know back to the prehistoric days, as I call it, prehistoric, H-A-W-K. But starting at the top right, Rxin. Let me tell you something about Rxin real quick. The other guys, as they announced themselves, I'm not going to say as much, but Rxin was the first person to connect with me. He's the one who really spurred me into the idea of doing a show. I talked about it a few times, but I just didn't feel like it was for me. This young man reaches out to me, and so I set up a Zoom call with him thinking, you know what, I'll set up a courtesy call with him and give him a try, just kind of listen to him, see what he has to say, but I don't really think I'm going to want to do anything. But he left a great message on my phone, and I kid you not, I thought it was a 20, 25-year-old man. I get on the Zoom, and up comes this young man. He's got his blazer jacket on. He's sitting up upright. Hi, sir. Yes, Mr. Marsh. Yeah, Coach Marsh. And I was like, holy cow, who's this cat? Like, this guy can come play for me anytime he wants. So, Rxin, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting me be on, and thanks to the guys, Nick Labow, Sky High Aviation, and Chef Jack Attack for putting in that work, and also you did a big part in that, and this is why I'm here, and this is why we're doing this right now. So much love to everybody. Go subscribe to everybody. That's all I can say. I'm really pumped, and I'm really excited to do this.
I love it, man. You're gonna have plenty to say as we go through the show. So I'm not worried about you, because when we talk on the phone, he's just got tremendous energy. He and the next guy I'm gonna introduce really started our Discord, which we've already pushed it out there, but we'll do it on the show and stuff. And one thing I want to really make sure that people understand is that this is not Norbcam 2.0. I don't want to be Norb. I aspire to be like him in terms of what he does, because the guy is as phenomenal as he becomes, with this stuff, as is his business partner, Mike Lorraine, him and Cliff Potter, who did their work for me for years. I love those guys, but I got to be me. I got to be the person I was as a coach. So that's who I'm trying to be. And so as I do my channel and do these things, they have set some templates for us to get going, but you'll see that we'll morph away from it. So I don't want anybody to think that we're trying to be copycat 2.0 here, and I'm not poaching any of Norb's people. In fact, this is a cross-supporting aspect that we have going on here. So I want people to go to Norb's channel, be a part of these guys' channel. So let's go to the next guy, Nick Labow.
What's up, everyone?
Nick Labow, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? This guy runs Seattle Sports Talk. And it's awesome to listen to this guy. He breaks things down. He's kind of the voice of reason, as I like to say, and it's kind of cliche, but man, like Dylan, the Rain Man on the right upper top, he's going to come power with some knowledge. Nick's the type, he's just going to sit and sit and sit And then like a grenade, he's just going to kind of toss it out there and then boom. We're all going to go, holy cow, what did he just say? Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So my name is Nick Labow. I am 13 years old from Washington State. I run my channel, Seattle Sports Talk. And first off, I want to thank everyone on the panel, especially you, Coach Marsh, and Norbcam, because without you guys, we probably wouldn't be here. And yeah, I'm so pumped up to be on this panel. Thank you, Coach Marsh.
Hey, you're welcome. You're definitely welcome. And I tell you what, none of us would be here if it wasn't for those guys. So there's going to be a lot of, front upmanship, as we call it in the game, where again, you're probably going to hear Norb's name about 10,487 times, and then that'll dissipate as time goes on, and then he'll remind me, hey, don't forget who brought you here, right? That's kind of how it works, in the NFL and at every other level, but I'm not going to forget those guys as we go along. So Nick, welcome to the program. Glad to have you on. Appreciate all the work that you've done. As we go down to the bottom left, we got Sky High Aviation. Now, I got to tell you, Norb did a fan panel. I don't know, it was probably, 2 weeks ago, Sky High, that we connected? But 2 weeks ago. And I mean, this had people from all around the world. It had, it had Norb's sponsor was on it. It had a bunch of other people. And then all of a sudden I saw Sky High Aviation come on. And that was my very first inkling of, man, if I was to do something like this, that's the guy. And that's nothing to say anything about Nick and Rain and the next person I'll introduce, because I love every one of them for what they bring to the program. But Sky High Aviation made me see something that made me realize I can do this, because it reminded me of coaching. Because I saw a little bit of myself in this guy. I saw how confident he was. I saw the energy he was bringing. But his breakdown was just off the charts. I was like, man, why is Norb doing Coach's Corner with me? He needs to bring on Sky High Aviation to break things down. So Sky High Aviation, love the background, love all the stuff you got going on around you there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. It's the first thing I got to say, Coach. And, obviously, you said it earlier, none of us would be out here without Norbcam and everybody else in the community that brought us up. Got to kind of thank Norbcam, because I haven't thanked him before, and you guys, because you guys have really brought the Seahawks fan out of me. Norb really made me that guy who I am today. He was like, this dude is inspiring. And then I see Coach Marsh, and this dude is inspiring as well. And it's amazing. And I'm so excited to be a part of this opportunity to work with these great group of people. And we're going to talk a lot of good stuff today. So really grateful for the opportunity.
I love it, man. Love it. And you know what's really cool about Sky Aviation is sometimes you'll see his producer peeking around the backside behind him there. So if you see someone creeping into the screen, that's just his production team that's working. So he's out there in the open setup. So glad you're here. I think you could see right there with how he spoke that, man, the kid is articulate. And I can't wait for us to start talking about some of the topics tonight with regards to the Super Bowl and trades that are taking place and everything else. So again, Sky High Aviation, glad to have you here. Now, the guy on the right, to him, man, oh man, if you've heard him make a phone call through the Discord on the Norbcam channel, I mean, holy cow, it's like, please you gotta take a break and get some water. But he doesn't. I mean, it is unbelievable. The guy's lungs must just be this big, because he just goes and goes and goes, and he gets like 27 points in 2 minutes, and I love it. And he is the one guy that, while I don't want to necessarily say specifically where he's from, he is the guy that represents the Northeast as a 12. He is the guy that brings that New York flavor to the program, and you'll tell with his, when he talks, the way he's got the raspy voice. Again, you think I thought he was an older man when he was talking on the phone call, and then I see him on a Zoom call, and I'm like, holy cow, another young guy. So Chef Jack Attack, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you have that chef moniker at the beginning as well.
Well, first, I want to say thank you to everyone here. I want to thank you, Coach. I want to thank Norbcam, because, again, great, big inspiration. I want to thank all the guys. This is going to be really fun. I'm really excited, and I'm super happy to talk about Seahawks. And I do have a channel that I do cook. I love to be a chef. That's what I want to be when I get older. But I do love my Seattle Seahawks. They are my favorite team out of any of my favorite teams. So I'm super happy to talk about them. Super happy to talk about the Super Bowl, the trade that's coming up. I mean, I'm really happy, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
And that's great. And I think what you're seeing with all four of these guys is, they've taken the time. Just when I started with them a few weeks ago talking about this, thinking I would just connect with them once a week, I mean, it became an everyday thing. And it wasn't because they were reaching out to me. It was because they were bringing this youthful exuberance out of me. Like, I couldn't wait to connect the next day after we spoke, and there'd be an hour-long meeting that I'd set up, and 3 hours later, we were still talking about the Discord and how we should set up the program. And I was just sitting back going, man, these are guys, as I've referred to them, like they're my coordinators. They literally have become my coordinators as I'm the head coach of the channel. So I've approached it from a football standpoint. So again, happy to have these four guys on. We're going to bounce in to some of the topics. But before I do that, I want to just mention a couple things. First off, Elena Dahl. I appreciate the fact that you've just already jumped on it and have started telling people what to do. You're fantastic. I love everything you do with Norbcam and those things. I don't know what else you do other than you do that, and you love the Seahawks, and you love Steve Largent. And I think the fact that you're able to take the time to come on to my show tonight and kind of keep an eye on things when I didn't specifically ask you to do it, maybe these guys did, but I appreciate you taking the time to do it. And I saw that Rxin, I gotta read this comment because I think this speaks to why I bring younger people on the program. And again, if it's not for you, I don't care. I'm not worried about it. I'm here for these younger people because they're going to visit me in the old folks' home. So they're the ones that I got to take care of. But Rishi in the comments, Coach, I'd like to be on the roundtable someday. Well, you can count on that. But once again, like this is the future. Like, I love this stuff. But once again, I'm pretty busy with life. I mean, Rishi, I bet you're not 52 years old. You're probably 17 or 15 or 18, something like that, right? I'm working on my Eagle Scout project, and I'm studying up for geography and history Bs to come in the future. I mean, I could put 10 of my closest friends together, and we're not doing what's going on with that guy, right? So Rishi, keep up the good work. And yeah, we'll definitely have times where we look at stuff. But we're going to do things different. Again, not going to be copycat 2.0. So with that, guys, you ready to talk a little football?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's get after it,
Let's
man.
go.
These guys have been anxious. Jeez Louise, at 5:15, they were just itching like, can we please kick off the show already? All right, so first thing I want to talk about before as I get into this, so I have a concept called the huddle. So the first segment of this show is called the huddle, meaning, we're going to talk about something that has an overarching theme to it before we get into, maybe break down stuff with Tampa Bay and Kansas City with regards to the game. And here's why I call it the huddle. As someone who coached quarterbacks for years, someone who had a mentor in Sherman Smith who played quarterback at Miami of Ohio, where he was 33-1-1 back in the mid-'70s, led him to the top 10 in the country. And I've had a chance to work with some just phenomenal quarterbacks that have gone on to play, anything from Pac-12 football to at Amherst, the #1 college in America. They played at Harvard. So just some really, really fun opportunities there. But here's what I've noticed that takes place in the huddle. And I've worked on this, and I've talked about it with Coach Smith many, many times. These four things happen. When a quarterback steps into a huddle, and I get that in these day and age the huddle doesn't happen very often, but we have a guy here in Seattle that is one of the best leaders I've ever seen, right? So he gets into the huddle, and he does these four things. And I've seen it since the day I started, and I did it as a player, and I watched others do it. They encourage, they challenge, they warn, and they instruct. Those are the four things that every quarterback does in the huddle. And encourage, challenge, warn, and instruct. Well, that's the same thing in life, right? You get together in your huddles of life, and you're going to do those four things. My huddle is my family. My huddle is when I connect with people on a spiritual level. My huddle is when I go to my team. My huddle is when I'm with my friends. And when we do those things, we encourage, we challenge, we warn, we instruct. So those are the four things I've told these guys that, man, let's make sure we have those things happen. I hope that happens in the super chat. I don't care if people challenge. I don't care if they want them to encourage. If they want to warn us about something, sure. If they want to instruct us on something. So you're going to get some of that from them tonight. So the huddle, this first concept, is about the Super Bowl. It is about the Super Bowl. And this is the question that I want to pose to you guys. And it's this, because they had them do a little research in terms of Tampa Bay and Kansas City, right? I mean, that's kind of the obvious stuff. But I told them there'd be some things I would throw at them that would be off the cuff, because I want to just kind of challenge these guys and see where they're at. So here's my in the huddle topic for tonight. And it's this. Here we've had a pandemic, and I'm sure you've heard us, talk about the Super Bowl and how it's going to get played and the fans and everything else. But let's pretend this is your first year going to the Super Bowl, and you've been playing for 10 years, right? You've been playing for 10 years, and you want to go back into the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you get there, and it's the year of the pandemic. And so there's not going to be a lot of fans. Yeah, they're going to let some people in there. And I know that there, sometimes when you go to Super Bowls, except for when we played in the Super Bowl and won it, I think it was like 75 to 80% Seattle fans. But usually it's kind of generic, but it's still loud and rambunctious. And now it's going to be low key. It's even the halftime show, it's going to be up in the stands, not going to be on the ground. So what would you guys think in terms of your first time going to the Super Bowl? It's been 10 years in the NFL. You've worked your whole life to get there. Does it mean that much? Do you get as amped up for it? Like, what do you think the atmosphere challenge, how would you overcome that feeling of, man, I made it, but it's just kind of not the same, knowing that there's no promise that you'll be back? Let's go, Nick. Let me start with you. What do you think?
Man, that's going to be tough. If I were a player, I've focused my entire career, every day, every training, every practice. You're thinking of the Super Bowl, and then you finally get there, and I'd probably kind of feel snubbed. I mean, you look at the past Super Bowls, it's been these parties in the streets, full packed house, all the celebrations, media day. And now we don't get that to a certain degree. Yeah, there's going to be fans in the stands, but it's not going to be a packed house. Yeah, there's going to be people in the streets, but there's not going to be as many people. But then I'd look back at the season and I'd think about all that I, as a player, have overcome to get there and how much harder it was in a unordinary year as 2020 was, an unordinary season. And then I'd think, man, as a team, we worked so hard to get here. And yeah, that's basically what I'd say. I'd overcome it by just thinking about how much we worked.
Man, great stuff. Great stuff. Sky Aviation. You can either kind of respond to what he said, you can add to it. It's obviously one of those topics where, we're going to repeat ourselves a little bit here. But I just want your personal feeling. If you were the guy, right? So I don't want you speaking about how Gronk's thinking or how, Mahomes is thinking, but if Sky High Aviation's worked all that time, you played youth football, high school, college, NFL for 10 years, and now you've made it to the show. And man, it's just going to be a little bit different. But maybe it's not. Maybe it doesn't matter, right? Maybe it doesn't matter to you. What do you think, Sky High?
Well, I think Nick said it in a perfectly great way. I for one would feel ecstatic. I'd feel kind of like we did it. There's going to be some downside to it because of the pandemic, and I think Nick really brought that point out extremely well. But if you look at it from somebody who's waited 10 years, you want to look at that, who's like, I've been working towards this goal all my life. I don't care how many fans are in the stands, as long as I get that ring on my finger. That's all that matters. I don't care who's there. I mean, since they're allowing fans, you probably do care because you want to have your family there. But at that point, 10 years in your career, you're probably at a point where you're like, I finally do it. I can't miss this advantage now. I have to take advantage of this. I got to be able to get my team to victory. I'd be ecstatic. I'd be like excited no matter what's going on. Yeah. So for you, you're saying it's about playing for that ring, as they like to say. I mean, you definitely showed it. You showed it, but in terms of that kind of be your focal point that, hey, I've been playing this long. I've made my money. It's all about, I want to be a champion. Yep. Kind of where you're at. Chef Jack Attack. Thoughts, man?
I agree with Sky High. I mean, it's the Super Bowl at the end of the day. I think you should be really happy. Fans, no fans. And if you look through the season, there have been no fans, really. I mean, I know the Chiefs had fans and the Bucks had fans, but most teams didn't have fans. So you should be, like, pretty lucky that you even had fans in your stands. So at least there's some fans, like no fans at all. And it is a Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl. I'm not worrying about who's going to be there, who's not going to be there. It's a Super Bowl. I'm going out, and I'm going to go out to win. That's what I think you should be worrying about, is winning this game.
Now, Chef Jack Attack, you actually brought up some. You kind of stirred the pot there a little bit for me, and something I hadn't really thought about. I mean, honestly, I had not even thought about something you just said. That some of these guys have not played for much of anybody all season long, right? I mean, look, especially Seattle. If Seattle had made it, if you're playing in Seattle of your career, if this is the year you were there and they made it, if you've gone all season long without playing with anybody, just playing in front of somebody would feel like it's probably a little bit bigger, right? So as opposed to if you're playing in front of 72,000 every single game and then you go to the Super Bowl, kind of the same size a little bit. So that's a great point you brought up there, man. Rain, and I do want to say that Rain is our Rxin. That is how he spells it. So that is a specialized way that the Rain Man spells rain. Rain, what do you think, man? You made it to the show, the Super Bowl. Talk to us, man. How are you feeling going into a game where there's not going to be many people? What's it about, man? How are you feeling? You amped, or are you kind of like, man, I wish it had been a different year?
So what I would first feel like, I was be like, thank God for letting me, get to the Super Bowl. But, first I would be like, let myself soak it in, and just really soak it in. So, and then I'll be amped up. I'd be, going crazy. Be like, let's go. We made it to Super Bowl, and the next thing is you want to worry about is that dub. You want to go out there, you practice so long, you've done everything to get to this point. So what I would do, I would honestly just, pretend like it's a regular game. I would go out there. If I'm Patrick Mahomes, I go out there, get this dub, lob it to Tyreek, do something drastic. I would just treat it like a regular old game, every game is a game, and yeah.
I like it. So let me follow up with that a little bit now. So you've played the game. Let's say you win. So all four of you win. You don't get to say I'm going to Disneyland or Disney World, even though you're close to Disney World down there. So you're gonna do something different, right? And there's probably not gonna be a parade or any of those things. But you guys have all heard about the asterisk when people talk about somebody wins something and they put an asterisk by it because there's something that took place. Like in the NBA, Lakers win the title, but man, maybe we got to put an asterisk by it because it just wasn't a real season and all these other things. And I have my opinion on it, so I'm not saying that that's good or bad. I'm not going to share my opinion. This is about you guys. But at the same time, do you think that the winner of this year's Super Bowl deserves to have an asterisk by the name or doesn't deserve it from a standpoint of, it was a crazy off season. They didn't get the off season in terms of practices and all those other things. Or is it, hey, you know what? Everybody had the same level playing field in terms of they all had to deal with the same stuff. Therefore, this Super Bowl in and of itself, a different type of year, but because it was a level playing field, we're not going to put an asterisk by it so that years down the road people won't go, oh, what happened in the 2020 season? What do you think? Does an asterisk go by this Super Bowl or no asterisk? Like, hey, it's the same as anybody. Anybody, go ahead. Shout it out there if you got an opinion. Go for it, Ray.
Yes.
Is that Chef Jack
Yeah,
Tech or Ray?
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Chef Jack Tech.
I think, it's been a crazy year. 2020 was crazy. 2021, not as crazy so far, but it's still crazy. We're still living through a pandemic. But yeah, that's a year to honestly ups, downs, a lot of downs that year. But and this year kind of, it's a year to remember at the end of the day. This is a historical year. Like year will go down in history. And it's really cool that there's even a Super Bowl being played, like a Super Bowl. Like it's crazy that there's an NFL league this year. And it's really cool. So yeah, I think, you put the asterisk to the Super Bowl 55 name because you do. It's been a crazy year.
Well, let me say this.
Oh, somebody's coming. Okay, I told you guys that once we got about 5 minutes into this thing, 10 minutes into it, you guys are going to get warmed up. Sky high, go for it.
Did the season deliver? Was this season awesome or not?
Because was it epic?
I determine if there needs to be an asterisk next to this season, if this season sucked, if there was constantly games getting rescheduled and people getting sick,
good point,
and all that and blah, 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 and the games were just too quiet and nobody found any enjoyment, sure, we'll put an asterisk next to that Super Bowl winning team. This season was awesome, fans or not. I was pumped up. I was looking forward to seeing I was actually looking forward to seeing the change. I was looking forward to seeing what empty stadiums would look like, what stadiums at 20% capacity would look like, how Seattle would pump in crowd noise, how quiet it would be. Is this season truly delivered no matter what was happening in the outside world? This season was awesome. So no matter what happens,
I'm not going to put an asterisk in it. Same thing with the NBA. That's the bubble. That was like intense. Like, I'm rooting for teams going like, oh, are they going to make the playoffs? They're shifting out, shifting in. It was madness. So
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
Totally.
the only time I would put an asterisk next to a team's championship is if they ended up cheating or doing something wrong. Houston Astros, sorry.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Cheater,
Rain,
man.
what do you think, man?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? And Sky, great points, especially and I'm going to come to you, Rain, the counterbalance of teams experiencing things in a different way, right? Like Seattle, you kind of count on 8 wins for sure because we're going to be 8-0 at home because of the 12s, loud, everything else. That changes, but that gave advantages to other teams coming into Seattle in terms of helping them out a little bit because they didn't have to worry about crowd noise going crazy. So, Rain, what do you think, man? Do we put an asterisk by this season, or hey, you know what? Everybody was equal.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put an asterisk. I like the words that you said there. Sky high aviation. I'm sorry. And you don't put an asterisk by it because of what the NFL did. Yeah, we had some COVID cases, but then yet again, there was no major outbreak.
Hey, now, Ray, when you say we, like, you know who didn't have COVID cases during the season?
Yeah, Seattle.
That's right.
Seattle.
That's right.
There were some outbreaks,
This team right here didn't.
Yeah.
So,
and the teams that did, they, the Ravens and I'm not sure the other ones, but I'm pretty sure the Ravens definitely were one.
Patriots.
Patriots. And yeah, I think we played it very well. I think the fans played it well. They weren't, overcrowding things or the NFL just did a great job overall. They limited the capacity. It was just great. The bubble, in addition to the NBA, they did the bubble. NFL, they did what they needed to do. Took care of the business.
they did. And who's just been sitting there, just spinning his wheels. Nick, I create the law. Bo. Go for it, my friend.
No, yeah, I totally agree with Sky and Rain. I would not put an asterisk by it because if you look at the few teams that were actually impacted, one obviously being the Patriots, they lost Cam Newton for like a week. Even if they had him and won that game, they still wouldn't have made the playoffs. You could say the Ravens could have one extra game, but they'd still be the 3 seed. And the Titans and Steelers, you could argue that the Steelers had a really early bye. I mean, that one, I guess you could argue, but I would not put an asterisk. Like Sky High said, I saw some of the best football being played in 2020. Even though there weren't fans in the stands, we still had a great outcome. And I was honestly surprised to see the NFL get not as impacted as I thought. I thought COVID was going to be much bigger of an issue than it appeared to be. No, I wouldn't put an asterisk by it. And yeah, that's my stance.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think everybody did. Yeah, go ahead, Chef Jack Attack.
And I'm not saying the NFL didn't do great. They did a great job this year. But what I'm saying is, and you guys all make good points, the NFL did a great job, and a round of applause to the NFL for doing a great job and keeping players safe. Well, trying to keep players safe, and they did a really good job. But it's been such a crazy year, great football or not. I mean, it's just been so crazy. Like that, this year should be remembered in some sort. I mean, it will be remembered, but on paper, I think it kind of has to be remembered. I mean, this year, ups, downs, great football, not great so football. This year was crazy. So I think it needs to be remembered on paper.
Fair enough. A lot of good points. And I do agree from a standpoint that the NFL did a good job of not having the impact that I think we all thought they were going to. I mean, I think
100%.
especially when Major League Baseball started out and they just had issues right off the bat. But again, they were kind of the first one to try to set the mark on things. And I think the NFL really took notice and they wanted to have that season. I think the players really wanted to have the season. And part of that as a coach, the piece I think that I would bring to it as someone who's been around it for a while is you only play once a week. Right. So, in baseball, you can make up games the next day. You can get guys ready to go. Basketball, they're playing, 2 and 3 nights a week. And that's not to say I don't love those sports. But football, you only have so many opportunities, right? In the NFL, you got 16 games. So you have to make the most of that. But because you only have those 16, you can really make sure that people are isolated and making sure the protocols are strong. And, but at the same time, you're dealing with so many different players. So yeah, very surprised they did it. What do you think about, how well they did? How long was it into the season before you stopped thinking about the fact that there were no fans at the game? I mean, did it happen game 1, midway through the season? From a standpoint of, watching the game and feeling like, man, I'm not even noticing anymore that there's no fans there. Like, I don't even notice it.
I would say midway.
Midway, definitely. But the broadcasting services that were just doing the little like recordings of the fans, that was great. That actually made me forget that there were fans in the stands, or there wasn't fans in the stands. There were some fans here and there, some stadiums, some not. And honestly, they did a good job with the no fans. They did a great job. I think they did a great job. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to transition us out of the huddle as much, and I know that's why you want stuff in at the end. If we got extra things you want to come back to, we can certainly go into overtime. We will have overtime in this show where you can spin back and come back to the things you want to hit on. But to keep it moving, guys, it's Super Bowl Saturday night. I mean, as a sports fan, how do you not get amped for that, right? I mean, regardless of what you have going on, I don't know if you guys have Nerf footballs, but I mean, people should be out playing two on two touch football. They should be playing Madden 21. In fact, Norb's probably not even watching the show because he's probably live streaming some Madden game right now. I'm sure he's played like 18 consecutive hours of Madden when he's not watching his daughters play volleyball. This is like a great time. And then Monday, everybody's kind of sad and gets the blues. Even though I did hear that Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman are part of a new fan league that they're starting out, where fans actually get to choose plays. So that'll be interesting to keep note on. But that being said, it doesn't compare to the Super Bowl, right? No. It doesn't compare to Super Bowl LV, as they say. So let's. Why don't we focus on Tampa Bay? Let's focus on Tampa Bay instead of trying to just generalize and go, hey, just what are your thoughts? So just going to kind of go around the horn. I'll probably start with the Chef Jack Attack because I know you're just itching to say some stuff.
Yes.
Say some stuff here. So just, again, just off the cuff, I told you guys we were going to talk about both teams. I don't know what you guys researched or what you're going to come at with, but let's focus more on what does Tampa Bay need to do to win the game, or what are the keys to victory for them, or what are their strengths? So I don't want to focus on, Mahomes and their plays and all those other things. It may come up a little bit here, but Chef Jack Attack, why don't you go ahead and go, and then others, if you want to rebuttal him or say something or go right into it, floor is yours.
Right here, they got to pressure Patrick Mahomes. They have to feel him. They have to make him feel uncomfortable. They have to make him think that this isn't his game. The D-line, Jason Pierre-Paul, I think his knees hurt. I'm not sure if he will come back. Ndamukong Suh, that D-line is really big because they got to pressure him. They got to stop that run. I mean, I know they throw the ball, the Chiefs, but if you sack Patrick Mahomes, I mean, that is huge. You got to make him feel uncomfortable. And I've been saying this to everyone for the whole week. This game comes down to who can score each drive. And even a field goal, a 45-yard field goal is huge in this game. That's the honest truth. Just putting up points each drive in this game is going to be huge. So when your D-line and your defense, not just D-line, your defense in general is stopping Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, that opens up a big opportunity for Tom Brady to score in each drive. Tom Brady is such a good clutch player, but he doesn't need it's not like he can have a little bit of a lead. He can relax. I think that's very important. And I mean, Jason Pierre-Paul had 9.5 sacks. I'm pretty sure it led the team. I mean, those players are huge. I mean, Ndamukong Suh, 6 sacks, 44 tackles this year. I mean, those players that I wouldn't say are Hall of Famers or anything, but players that are good, and those good players can really change this game and really can change the game coming up tomorrow. So,
man, Chef Jack Attack, bringing some stats, bringing some names. Somebody's done his research, man. I love it. I love it. But do you guys agree with that? Like, he's kind of focusing on the front, getting to Mahomes, and again, focusing on Tampa Bay. You know, do you agree with that, or is there another area that you think that they need to focus on? Anybody
Honestly,
jump on in there?
Yeah,
Ray, go
for Tampa, you know, nice points there, Chef Jagatak. But you know, the Buccaneers O-line, throughout the playoffs, you know, Tom Brady's only had 3 seconds to get the ball out. 3 seconds. That's 1, 2, 3. That's only 3 seconds, and he hasn't gotten sacked the majority of the times because he has those weapons like Gronk, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. He has those weapons, and he's an older guy, and he's been in the league. Hey,
now easy on the older guy remark, man. I'm an older guy too. Tom and I play bingo every Friday night with Norm. Go ahead, keep going, Rain, keep going.
But yeah, you know, he knows where to put it at, and you know, he's gotten pressured. He's gotten pressured a lot. And in the Washington football team game, he's gotten pressured 4 times, and towards the end, if they didn't score that touchdown, that game would have went into overtime.
So you're focused. So you're thinking it's more the offensive side of the ball. So Chef Jack Attack saying it's going to be more the defensive side of the ball, and you flopped to the other side. You're saying more of the offense, and so that you went back and looked at some footage or something of the Washington game. And no, I did not give these guys go watch the Washington game. Like this is what these guys do, man. This is what I love. All right, good. Go ahead, finish your point.
If you go back, and you see the Washington football team was honestly, if they had more weapons, they probably would have beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It came down to the final seconds, and you know, Chef Jack Attack, you did have great points. But if that O-line like straightens up and they play great, Tom Brady's just gonna be able to sit in the pocket, just sit in the pocket and just look. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronkowski, all them players are just gonna be moving and grooving down the field.
Man, you say that, and I tell you what, Brandon, you're saying this. I think a lot of fans in Seattle are like, no, we don't want to see Tom Brady do anything.
I don't either.
Like, get him squashed, force him into retirement. We're done seeing that guy. And then there's other people like, hey, we want to see greatness finish out as greatness. So, man, good stuff. We'll come back to you. Let's see here. How about Sky High? No, hold on. Because I know I'm going to put Nick on the spot, man. He likes to sit and wait. So, Nick Labow of Seattle Sports Talk. What do you got? What do you think of the keys? Say offensive. You going offense, defense? What do you think?
I think that first off, Rain, tremendous points. I believe that.
Yeah, hold on, guys. I got to stop us right. We're gonna take a time out here for a second. Now here's the deal. Like, I love that we have all these like praise for each other, and I want you guys to do that because you guys you're great teammates outside of this. But man, when we come to these round tables or the rectangle table like this, hey, enough with the hey, great. Hey, we all love each other, but man, make your point and get the other guy off the table, right? Like, it's kind of process of elimination. Nah, I'm kidding you to a degree. Like, I love the fact that you're complimenting each other, but hey, man, don't worry about it. Stick to your guns and go for it. Because all your comments are great. All right, Nick, keep on going.
All right. So basically, I believe defense is going to be the key to this game on both sides of the football because we know both teams have tremendous weapons. They can score. However, I want to look at Tampa Bay's secondary. Tampa Bay's secondary has a lot of playmakers. They are young studs. They play really tied up. They play super physical, pretty much borderline pass interference. But the thing is, it's not pass interference. I think they are going to fluster Kansas City's wide receivers. Kansas City's wide receivers are playmakers. Sammy Watkins is questionable for the game. And I think that Tampa Bay will have a very good night on defense, especially in their secondary.
I like it, man. I like it. Sky High. And I know we're having some a little bit of issue out there in YouTube land, so I'm aware that we've had a little delay that's taking place. So I know that that's happening, and I'm working to fix it at the same time. But we're going to keep on rolling with the show here because it's good practice for you guys anyway, and it's good practice on me. I've got my staff crack production team working here, which is really my two hands that have to be the production team. So we'll keep on rolling. I know it's catching up here a little bit. Go for it, Scott. And I also want to say for these guys that are doing this work, I mean, again, we got guys out here on the East Coast, so their time limit's getting pushed here. So I really want to thank your parents for allowing you guys to spend some time with us out here on the West Coast and stay up and do this, man. It's awesome that you're doing that.
Okay, what's up? So I think Tampa Bay hasn't been talked enough much besides the offensive line with their weapons. I mean, we all know Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. He's the best dude of all time, best player. But I think Tom Brady, we need to look at Tom Brady's weapons and what he has at his disposal. And you're talking about 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, right? He's got receivers that can catch quickly, fast. They're fast, they're quick. And when he's got time, he's got receivers that can also go down the field and make the catch. If we look at the stats, which I know I can't directly bring him up, but Tom Brady, what he does so well as a quarterback, he spreads the ball to his receivers. Gronkowski, Scotty Miller, the rookie Johnson, Brown, Evans, Gronkowski, Braid. I mean, and they've got depth at every position. So Tom Brady has built that trust with all his guys to go out there and throw those passes, get those touchdowns. It doesn't matter, hey, I need enough targets in this game. It's a matter of who's open. I'm going to throw it to that person. Now, I think what's really the keys to the game is keep the secondary of Kansas City on their heels. They've got some ball hawkers back there. They're not well talked about enough. I think they're really a group that is underlooked because of the Kansas City. It's everybody when they see Kansas City, it's offense. No, what about this defense? This defense is pretty good. They have some weapons back there. So I think the receivers need to keep them on their heels. I mean, they've got Antonio Brown and Mike Evans lining up on both, and Chris Godwin. They've got 3 receivers, 3 all-pro wide receivers lining up. That should be enough to make some guys pee their pants back there like, oh, we're going to get torched. But they come in all shapes and sizes as well. Scotty Miller, he's a short guy. You got Mike Evans, a big guy. You got Gronk, who's this huge dude who's 1 minute he's here and 1 minute he's gone. And then you've got your regular old 6'3" guys who go up and get it. He'll go up and catch the ball short. So I think, if they're able to connect short, that'll help them open up the long ball as well on offense with Evans and Brown, with anybody really, because they've got all this depth and flexibility to help them. So I think it starts with getting involved in the short passing game and then moving onto that long passing game. And don't forget, they've got those running backs you can catch in the backfield as well. So I really think it comes down to Tampa Bay being able to throw the ball against this underrated Kansas City defense.
Man, I mean, Chef Jack Attack, go for it. Counterbalance it. Go for it.
Okay. Sky, you make. Okay. But ready? No, ready?
Go
ready?
for it. Bring it.
I have a different opinion, and
Yeah,
I already
I hope
explained
so.
it. I'm going to disagree on you. I'm sorry. You're great, and that was a great comment, but
Don't apologize, man. Just bring your comment. I love it.
This is coming on defense. This game is coming on defense. You have they have great targets. They have the best receiving core, in my opinion, in the game. Their offense, their wide receivers, tight ends, sky high. I mean, they're great, and you're 100% right. But you have the GOAT, you have the baby GOAT. You have to stop them. That comes down to defense. Not Mike Evans going up to catch the ball. Not Antonio Brown dancing in the end zone after he scored a touchdown. No,
The question is, are they up for the challenge? I mean, we saw Green Bay, who I think has a better secondary than Kansas City.
No, that's my point, though. That's why it's coming down to defense. That's why it's coming down to defense. That's why I'm not sure. That's why it's coming down to defense to stop Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs and Tom Brady and all his receivers. It comes down to It's coming down to defense. It comes down to who can put pressure on these quarterbacks.
Totally. It is coming down to defense. Sorry to cut you off there.
You're right, Nick.
Hold on, Nick. Nick, you got a flag. You got a flag for cutting him off too quickly there, man. You cut him off so quickly that, oh, hold on. Wait a minute. No, they've told us that they have to review. We're waving the flag. Nick, go for it. You go for it.
All right. So, yeah, it is going to come down to defense because we both know these offenses, both teams in their offense can score in like 5 or less plays. They both got tremendous targets. Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, Chris Godwin, Terry McLaurin, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce. It's going to come down to defense. Whichever defense can either pressure the quarterback or stop the receivers is going to win the game.
Exactly. It comes down to defense. And even if Kansas City doesn't even if they don't even play that unbelievable at their offense, they're still going to put up some points because they score. You can't go 2 drives without not scoring, and then you can't go 2 drives scoreless against this team, okay? Because they're going to score back. If you stop that Kansas City Chiefs, you have the GOAT. You have the best player, not Patrick Mahomes, not the best player, not Lamar Jackson, not Russell Wilson, not Joe Montana, not anybody, not Peyton Manning, whatever. Those aren't the best. Tom Brady is the best. And when you stop a young guy like Patrick Mahomes in the biggest game of his life, way bigger than last year's game, because he's versing the best quarterback of all time. You stop Kansas City, you get Patrick Mahomes to be flustered. The whole entire offense, Tyreek Hill gets flustered. Travis Kelce is going to be upset. Their O-line, it's going to be, I'm just saying, when you stop Kansas City, that opens up so much for Tom Brady. And if you stop Tom Brady, I know he doesn't play great in the first half in Super Bowls. Like, let's be honest, comes back every Super Bowl. If you stop him, if you stop Tom Brady, you stop that 3 seconds. You're right, and you're Rain. You're right. Offensive line is really big in this game. 1, 2, 3. There you go. There it is.
Man, keep going. Finish it. Finish your thought.
Go.
We good there?
No. I'm just saying, if you stop Tom Brady, that means Patrick Mahomes gets a little bit better. He's not flustered. So this game comes down to who can stop your opponent. Who can stop your opponent, because each quarterback's great, each offense is great. So when you stop their rival, you stop their opponent, that means the other team they can relax for a sec. Patrick Mahomes can have time. He's young. He needs to relax for a sec. Yeah. That's why Sky High, Rxin, Rain. That's why, ready? That's why this game comes down to defense.
And Chef Jack Attack, man, that's what I love about you, man, because you just keep the chains moving down the field. You keep things happening, man. It's awesome. So let's start to transition. Go and finish your thought there, Rain, and then let's go and transition into Kansas City as well, and then we'll be able to bounce back and forth. But man, I love what you guys are talking about here. Lots of great thoughts.
So I think, in my opinion, whoever scores first. Now, let's say Kansas City goes out first half 21 points. It's 21-7. Kansas City is going to have that momentum. There's a bunch of young guys on that team. Tyreek Hill is going to be going again, calling on the phone. Help is on the way. Like, they're going to be amped up. Like, they're going to be, okay, let's go. And their defense is going to be amped up. And what does defenses do when they're amped up? They push harder. Chris Jones, that whole defensive line is going to just be pushing. And I'm going to go back to 3 seconds. More like 2. If they're all amped up and they score 21 points or 28 points in the first half, that game is going to be a run over. Now, I understand, Tom Brady likes to come back late in games. Patrick Mahomes is going to be fired up. Travis Kelce is going to be fired up. Tyreek Hill is going to be on the phone. Chris Jones is going to be going to work. And they're unstoppable. I don't see Tom Brady coming out with another ring. I don't see anybody coming. I see Kansas City coming out with another ring.
All right, so hold on. So before you give any sort of predictions, and I don't want to get too much into the Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes thing, right? Because we know that they're great. right? I'm interested in what you guys think also on the other people. So we're going to go to Kansas City, but remember guys, we're not in class. So there doesn't have to be, I love that you guys want to raise your hands. Like Nick's sitting there, Chef Jackatex sitting there doing raising the hands. Hold on, Chef Jackatex. Hold on just a second there. So Nick, a little advice, like you got to still play strong, right? So don't let that flag earlier in the game make you sensitive. Like, oh man, should I run this player? Hey, you want to say something, man, jump right in there and make it happen. So Kansas City, let's focus on Kansas City for a second. I know you've mentioned a few things about it and stuff. And again, let's try to not jump onto the Mahomes, baby goat and all that other stuff, because there's so much more to the team than Mahomes, right? Like I said the other night on the show that I was on, that your person that who should always be your second favorite quarterback on your local team is your backup quarterback. That should be your second favorite quarterback. And Kansas City has a great one that helped them win a game when everybody thought, oh, Mahomes is out. How are they going to figure it out? And what does Reed do? He ends up calling a crazy play. So let's try not to focus on Mahomes, even though you'll bring him into the conversation. Yet we can get there. So Nick, I'm going to come to you to start with, which I know is hard for you, man, because you like to go at the end. But Kansas City, man, what do you think they got to do?
Again, I'm going to continue my point. Me and Jack's point comes down to defense. Kansas City's defense can show up in the main position that I think needs to show up for them is defensive line. Tom Brady is not at all a mobile quarterback. He can barely run down the field. Not to mention he's a lot older than when he was scrambling a lot more. But the one thing I want to point out on Kansas City's defensive line is their run stopping. Their run stopping has been horrible this season. It has been downright bad. Yet they do have playmakers. They have the Chris Jones. They have the Frank Clarks, who we know a lot about. Pass rush is going to be key. If they can pressure Tom Brady, if they can sack Tom Brady, then I have Kansas City winning the game.
Wow. Again, it's like kind of that easy. Defense. Man, oh man, Nick, I like it, but he's saying the defense. Yeah, do you think? Are you saying that they haven't shown up though? Has their defense shown up enough? Have they shown up enough to be competitive, or does this just become a barn burner? And Tampa Bay's got to figure out how to keep it going, but Kansas City's got to figure out how to keep it going as well.
Hold on, let me throw something out here really quick. I'm sorry.
I love it, man. That's what I want to do. I want to sit back and let you guys run the show. Go for it. Go for it, Ray.
So late against the Packers, they called a pass interference. They hadn't called any pass interference, basically no flags that whole entire game. So when it matters the most, they call pass interference. I think the Buccaneers are a tad bit inconsistent. You could say, oh yeah, how are they inconsistent? Because they made the Super Bowl. They're inconsistent because, Tom Brady can have an off game. He can have a good – I understand QBs and all these other teams could have inconsistent games or not so good games. But, they've just been getting lucky. But I understand, okay, in the Saints game, that game was just – they pulled away late in the quarter because Drew Brees threw a couple picks.
Hey, Rain, what's your favorite snack? Do you have a favorite snack or a dessert or anything like that?
Not really, no.
Oh, come on, man. You like donuts, potato chips. What do you got for the Super Bowl tomorrow?
Cheez-Its.
Okay, Cheez-Its. So let's say every day you go to get the Cheez-Its, and you go to get the Cheez-Its, and and you're always able to get the Cheez-Its from the same cupboard. And let's say you have a brother, and he never bothers you. And then sometimes he bothers you, and your parents don't do anything about it, and then he bothers you, your parents don't do anything about it. But then one time when it really matters because you're starving, you got to get to him, your brother just tackles you, and you don't get to have those. Should your parents get upset at him or not? My point being, if there's a pass interference where a guy gets his jersey grabbed when he's trying to get the Cheetos, and he's trying to get his Cheez-Its or whatever snack he's trying to get, do you think that shouldn't have been called in that game? So I'm going back to the play that you're referencing, where there was a pass interference, where a lot of people were saying, like what you're saying, like, hey, they don't call it all game, they got lucky, and now they call it. Or do you call it? Because again, if you want to have those Cheez-Its, here comes brother, man. He tackles you that one time. Are you going to get up and go, hey, mom and dad, come on.
Man, I think if you don't call it all game, you don't call it at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's
okay.
at the beginning of the game, okay, let's say they didn't call anything and that game moved on and Packers won. This scenario would be totally different. If they had been calling penalties all game, the game would have been totally different as well. Who knows who would have won?
Yeah, and my guy Aaron Rodgers would be playing, man. I'd be so excited.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers would be playing right
Heck
now.
yeah. Heck yeah.
Aaron Rodgers against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, man, that'd be so much fun. But this
You know what
this
else
is fun
pretty
too.
big in this game?
Tell us.
So, as much as I think defense is superior in this game and how important defense is, you know what? Kind of important here, and I was not just saying this just to say this to be different. Special teams is pretty important, and special teams is really underrated. It is an important job. Okay, special teams. Like I said, 45-yard field goal is huge. So Harrison Butker made 25 out of 27 field goals this year for the Kansas City Chiefs. He had a good year. In my opinion, top 5.
Hold on, what was that number again?
25 out of 27.
Yeah,
field goals. And so getting good field positioning, because if your defense is doing good field positioning is pretty important because makes the job less harder. So McCall Hardman, longest return is 67 yards for a punt return. Again, good field positioning, getting into that rhythm. That's a good return. I think punter is actually kind of important in this. I know punter is punter, but again, very important. Putting Tom Brady to his own end zone, his back to his own end zone, trying to get the ball inside the 10 is huge. So Tommy Town said he had 52 punts, 2,339 yards this year for punting, and his longest is 67 yards, right next to McCall Hardman. So you got to put that ball in for the inside the 10, and same goes for Tampa Bay. You gotta make your opponent quarterback feel uncomfortable. You have to make them feel comfortable. Put your back to their own end zone.
Yeah.
That's why special teams is so important. To get great field positioning is huge in this game because defense, if your defense is rolling, it's hard to score. We saw it in Super Bowl 53. Rams versus Patriots. Rams couldn't get anything. Maybe if they had a little bit better field positioning, I don't know, maybe they make a field goal. Tom Brady gets a little more pressure. That's why special teams is so important. And I said, and defense, you know how I feel about that. But scoring each drive is kind of big in this game. And people are going to say, Jack doesn't think offense is that important. It is very important. I just think defense.
Oh, you went too long. They threw a flag on you. They threw a flag on you. You had the pregame warning when we talked to the officials about you couldn't go too long, Chef Jack attack. You're burning. You started burning the chicken. You burned the chicken, man. So I had to throw the flag on you. But your points are phenomenal, and I might pull the flag up on this one as well because you know that I love special teams. When I'm on Norbcam doing Coach's Corner, the three phases of the game, man, like special teams to me is the biggest one because as a coach, and again, I don't want to get too much into this show because I want you guys to have the show. But I used to always go back 5 years and see what the national average was, when I was coaching high school level of what every single yard line was and what the percentage was that teams would score a touchdown. Well, starting at the own 20-yard line, only 13% of teams at the high school level will go all the way down and score a touchdown. And then as you go to, along the way, that number gets bigger and bigger. So obviously if you get the ball at midfield, you have a bigger percentage. You get the ball at the other team's 30, so on and so forth. What you have here is you have a couple kickers and punters that can flat out kick and blast the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised if on some of those plays where even, Kansas City you'd think they were going to go for it. Tampa Bay is going to go for it. Even though you have aggressive style coaches, they might sit back and go, you know what? Exactly what Chef Jack Attack is saying. Let's pin these, let's make these guys the GOATs that everybody says they are and see who's going to lose the game. Like, look at what happened to Aaron Rodgers, right? Force a quarterback to lose the game instead of trying to win it. So, and a point of note is they use a lot of newer football. They use brand new footballs at the opening kickoff. So I don't know if you guys are aware of that. So the opening kickoff, as opposed to other games where kickers can get it ready and everything else, that's going to be a super hard football because they send that to the Hall of Fame, which is awesome. But then they bring in other new footballs throughout the game and stuff. So they're not as worked in. So that can impact things the opposite direction, where punter maybe can't kick it as far. But these two guys, they blast the ball so well. So I agree, man. I think special teams have a big deal. And so they pulled the flag. So that's 2 for 2 pulling the flag. But they're not always going to get pulled, guys. Sometimes you're going to have to sit on the sidelines for a few minutes. But Sky High, haven't heard from you for a little while. Kansas City, man, what are they going to do? What are they got to do?
I was beginning to think you guys forgot about me. Just
Oh
kidding.
no! Well, you were up there at 30. You were up there at
Never,
35,000 feet, just kind of circling around, checking things out. But I saw you coming under the radar.
Okay, so I just talked about Tampa Bay and their wide receivers and tight ends. Well, let's flip the script. How about Kansas City and their defensive backs, right? I said it, and this is one of the more underrated secondaries, one of the more underrated, under the radar defenses that are under the league. And right now, I think really the topics tie in perfectly together. They've got some ball hawks back there. They got Tyrann Mathieu, who I think is still in his prime. He's still playing at a high level. They've got Brashawn Breeland, one of their quarters. They got, I don't know how to say his name, L'Jarius Sneed. I hope I said that right. But
Yeah,
I think what they got to do is they got to be able to not be afraid. They got to be able to press up against these big receivers. They got to be like, I'm going against Antonio Brown, Mike Evans. Who cares? I'm going to press up. I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to play good coverage without getting that penalty flag. So I think what they need to be able to do is they need to be able to, instead of zone up on these on the short on when Tampa Bay throws the ball short, they need to be in man all that time. They need to be going up against these guys. They need to be able to be strong, make Tom Brady force it in there, try and weave it into that small area. And once that if they're able to stop that, I'm sorry for the background.
No, man, I love it. People are getting excited about the game. Super Bowl Saturday night. They're screaming back there.
If they're able to frustrate Tom Brady, then they're starting to get that. That's a big mental W for them. That throws away the deep passing game. That throws away everything else that they want to run. And based on how do I say this? Deep passing game as well. That's a big threat as well for the Buccaneers. And if they're able to defend the boundary, is what I like to call it, the sidelines, because that's where most of those deep passes come from. Then they're able to frustrate Brady more. They're able to cause mistakes. Brady may throw an interception. Who knows? That's what happens. And then your secondary and defense have a mental win. Also, one more thing. I think the best group in this Tampa Bay offense is the tight ends. They've got a bunch of depth there. They've got O.J. Howard. They've got Cameron Brate. They've got Rob Gronkowski. And I think if they're able to take the tight ends out of the equation, because they have a really talented linebacker group as well, led by Sorensen, if they're able to take out that tight ends equation, and again, they're going to force Brady to throw to the boundary. They're going to force him to throw these short passes to the other guys in the tight ends. It's going to cause frustration. So I think really if the secondary can stick to a man-based coverage, have two deep safeties, be able to help over the top, you're going to force Tom Brady to kind of beat you in different other ways, kind of adjust the game plan is what I'm trying to say.
Man, I love it. And that's why you're always pulling, keeping the chains moving. Yeah, you're a guy that keeps the chains moving. That's what I love about you, buddy. I mean, you bring the information. Yeah, add on to it real quick, and then we're going to get predictions. So get ready for your predictions.
All right. So, I'm going to go back to points a little bit here. If the Buccaneers really want to win this game, and if the Buccaneers really want to win this game, they need to.
Do you think they want to? Let me ask you this question, Rain. Do you think the Buccaneers want to win the game?
This will make history.
We play to win the game. It's a famous Herm Edwards quote. Go for it, Rain.
This would do history. A team winning in their own city while playing in the Super Bowl, that's an honor.
I agree with you there.
Let me go back to this. The Raiders scored 30 or more points on the Chiefs twice, each time they played. The Panthers scored
good stat.
30 or more points once. Well, they only played once. If the Buccaneers want to win, they need to watch those replays closely. And even the Raiders beat the Chiefs the first time they played and delivered them their first loss. So if you want to win this game and you're coming in here to Tom Brady, which I'm pretty sure he's already done, you need to watch the replays. Now I know everyone's locked in, like everyone is locked into this game. if they don't do that, this game is going to go haywire very quickly. The Chiefs have not allowed more than 30 points in the what is this week? Out of their 17 games that they played this whole entire season, they only let them score 30 more points 3 times. 3 times out of 17 times. That is insane. That means their defense is holding up and their offense is playing great. Buccaneers need to watch out.
Yeah, they do need to watch out. I mean, I definitely think it's going to be one of those games where if a team falls behind by 10 or more points, it could be really scary for the home city, right? I mean, because you just got, you're just playing that chase mode. And I mean, there's situations where you could be behind by 10 or 14 or 21, but it's kind of like Seattle, right? Like we always feel like we're in the game always, but if we fall behind by more than 14, which we never do, that's why we're always in the game. But I think in Seattle, we feel like, gosh, we fall behind by that much. Well, same when you're chasing down Kansas City or chasing down Tampa Bay. So before we go to our final segment of Outside the Hash Marks, and let's keep it inside the hash marks with our predictions. Now, I'm not going to be posting your scores up in future shows or anything like that, so we're going to trust you on it. But I'm going to call your name out, and I just want you to give me. And if you want to give me score, great. If you just want to say so and so, and they're going to win by 10 or 15 or what have you, you don't always have to just give the score. There's multiple ways to do predictions. So let's go to Nick. Nick, what's your prediction?
My prediction is the Bucks take the win in a very close, very down to the wire game, and I'm going to say they win by probably 7 or less. No. 7 or less for the Bucks.
I respect that.
You gotta respect it, man.
Bucks
you gotta
respect
it. So Bucks by 7. So I'm noting it down. Bucks by 7. All right, Chef Jack Attack.
Okay, well, I got Tampa Bay winning 27-21. And Tom Brady's home, guys, in his home stadium in the Super Bowl. I mean, come on. It's not like Jared Goff playing in the Super Bowl in his home stadium. So it's Tom Brady playing in his home stadium in the Super Bowl. Tampa Bay 27. It's going to be 21-21 fourth quarter. This is when special teams come out. 45-yard field goals, 50-yard field goals. 27-21, Tampa Bay wins in a short game and a defense affair.
Man, whoever's watching this, I mean, I know that there might be 5 people or 10 people, who knows how many people are watching it, or if they watch it later, but you guys have been so impressive so far, and I love it. We're going to go about maybe 10 more minutes here, but man, I can't say how impressed I am with you guys so far of just everything you've brought to the table. I mean, you're making this so fun for me to just sit here and just be on this side of the fence and not be stressed out about trying to come up with stats and everything else. Man, you guys are doing a great job keeping the show going. So 27-21. This question is just for Chef Jack Attack. If Tom Brady wins, regardless of how he wins, he could throw 5 interceptions, whatever. If he wins, is that an automatic lock for MVP, Super Bowl MVP?
It depends on.
Whoa, you were thinking like, do I go to the microwave with this steak or do I cook it?
No, never microwave a steak. Never microwave a steak. No.
Again, the question is real quick, just a quick answer. Is a yes or no. If Tom Brady wins the game, is he automatically the MVP, regardless of how he plays? Because he got
5 interceptions. It could be a wide receiver. It could be a defensive player. It could be. I don't even care if it's an
He throws 4 interceptions, but he has the game-winning drive. Kind of like, let's go back to the Seahawks versus Green Bay, the NFC Championship. Russ throws 4 interceptions, but all anybody talks about was the deep touchdown, and we win everything else. What do you think?
I mean, 4 interceptions kind of a lot for Super Bowl and the greatest quarterback of all time. No.
But that's the scenario. No. Yes or no? Nope. Okay, it.
No.
Not at all.
Can I jump in on that?
Real quick.
Okay, I wouldn't say he automatically gets the MVP, but he does automatically get the GOAT title.
He doesn't get the MVP, but he does get the GOAT title. I can buy that. Rain Man.
I don't know. He definitely does not.
No. I want your prediction. Prediction for the game.
Oh, okay.
Prediction for the game.
Well, obviously, the Chiefs are going to come out hot. The Buccaneers are going to come out hot.
Hey, Rain, slide over to your left just a little bit because you're hiding behind me there.
This way.
To your left, your other left.
Okay.
There you go.
So yeah, everyone's going to do great. Good luck to everyone. But I think the Chiefs are going to slide this one out. I have a prediction. It's could be right. Hopefully it is. I got 24-24 at halftime.
Wow.
But then I have 27-43 at the end of the game. And who do I have winning? The Chiefs.
Wow.
That's
So,
a lot of
43-26. So let me recap that one real quick. Let me recap it real quick. Neither team has their defense get off the bus, and it's 24-24. And then at halftime, Kansas City finds their defense, but Tampa Bay doesn't. Did I get that right?
Exactly.
Tampa Bay scores 3 more points, but Kansas City scores enough points to get a 43-27 victory.
Did you see in the Buffalo game, it was all Buffalo like the first 5 minutes, 10-0. Kansas City muffles the ball on the punt return. All the momentum was on Buffalo. Now you see, like, after the timeout or the end of the quarter, they switched. Everything switched. They adapted to what Buffalo was doing, and they pulled out the dub.
Great word, man. They adapted is a great football word.
Buffalo tried to come back, and they could have. They very much could have, but they weren't strong towards the end. And that's what I think is going to happen to the Buccaneers. They're gonna come out to 24-24 halftime. Then they're only going to score 3 points, and Kansas City's just going to take it all.
Tom Brady's
winning MVP.
All right. Did I get sky highs? I haven't got sky highs yet. Sky, come on down into the radar. Come down into the radar scoop here and give us your prediction for the big game, which is less than 24 hours away.
As much as it pains me, because you guys love Tom Brady for some reason, it'd only be right for me to pick Tom Brady. It is rare that you beat Tom Brady twice in a season. The Saints did it, but I don't know how they did it. But it is rare that you beat Tom Brady twice, let alone once. They play, let us remind, because I am shocked that it has not been brought up, not the Patriots, what the heck? The Bucs lost to the Chiefs at home. And I told myself, the Chiefs are going to be back here. That's a preview to what's to come. And I tell you, Tom Brady has that in his head right now. There's no way that you beat Tom Brady twice. You have to be extremely lucky to beat him twice in the same season. The Saints did it. I don't know how they did it. They weren't able to do it 3 times. You have to be extremely lucky. So I see the Bucs coming out on top, 31-27, in an extremely tight game. But of course, who do you pick to lead you down on the game-winning drive? Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes.
And our guy, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and a guy named Russell Wilson. Those are probably the 3 guys you want, right? But man, oh man, some great predictions. I love it. So we'll keep tabs of that. I think it is going to be a fun game, a action-packed game. Like I said on a couple shows, I just hope that it's a team that wins the game versus what we saw in Green Bay, where I think people felt like Green Bay lost the game, right? So if we can get one of those fun things, I think it's going to be awesome. Hey, and I know I saw Norb on for a little bit. Norb, maybe put in the chat, if you're out there, what you plan on doing, if there's anything going on for you with the Super Bowl tomorrow in terms of any live feeds you're doing. I know you were doing something with your dad, so if you want to put something out there so we can pub that up a little bit. So that finishes between the hash marks. So to wrap up the show, we're going to go outside the hash marks. We started in the huddle. We went inside the hash marks. Now at the big game. And now let's go outside the hash marks. The one topic that you aren't aware of that I'm going to give to you, but you're aware of it, it's a football topic, obviously, is the trade. You know, everybody's had a chance to talk about the trade between the Rams and the Lions. And I've definitely got a lot of take myself, but I gave my opinion on my own roundtable where I was the guest. Don't worry, Chef Jack Attack. Again, I see you. There's only 4 students in the old classroom here, so I can definitely figure out, who's ready to go. You're all gonna get a turn. And this, I'm gonna put it out there, and I want you guys to just have a discussion like 4 dudes that are just hanging out, talking about a trade that took place. Does it impact Seattle? How does it impact Seattle? The Rams, do they get better? Do they get worse? Detroit, better or worse? And obviously the focus is more how it impacts Seattle and the relationship with the Rams and those type of things. So we've had this massive trade. We have Stafford, who's left Detroit, played there for a long time. wasn't injured for 12 of those years. He played every single season, but for won all 16 games, but didn't win in the playoffs. A lot of people are kind of bashing him for that, but maybe didn't have great players around him. Then you go to the Rams. You got Goff. He's left. Rams have this great defense and other things. So you can either talk about which team got the better of the deal, or you can focus on the Rams. Like, how do the Rams change? Are they better, worse, better quarterback, worse quarterback than our guy? Who wants to open up that one? Yeah, Rain, jump in. I saw the Rain man.
My brother loves Matt Stafford. He's a huge fan.
And Cheez-Its. Your brother probably loves Cheez-Its too. He keeps stealing those Cheez-Its from me.
Yeah, but he's a huge Steelers fan, but he loves Matthew Stafford. I love the guy too. Although I haven't seen him play much, we don't get a lot of games from them. But the games that I've seen, he's played great. And the reason that he's not winning those games is because he doesn't have a defense. Well, guess what? You're in LA. You have one of the most top defenses in the whole league. The Seahawks. I said this before. I have the Seahawks coming out not on the top. I have them in the second. Because let me just sum this up for you. You have Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, who has weapons, who has a defense. You have Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, unstoppable. And then you have, let's say Jimmy Garoppolo is still on this team. You have George Kittle, all those players coming back. This division is flat out awesome. There's nothing you can do to stop this division. This division is going to be great for a good amount of years until somebody retires. I don't see this division stopping, and I believe that this whole division can make the playoffs. It's possible, and it could happen.
Man, love it, and way to be very succinct with your thoughts. So, Chef Jack Attack. I'm not coming to you right now. Nick Labow, I'm coming to you, my friends. If we were playing basketball, that was like a look off. Like you thought I was coming to you, and I kind of threw off the question to my buddy over here. So I'll come to you, Chef Jack Attack, last. Meanwhile, Sky Aviation is like circling. Now he's in his F-14 though. He started off in a 747. Now he's in his F-14, his F-60. Like he's lasering down on somebody. I don't know who yet. Nick Labow, what do you think?
This is my take. I think both teams have a shot at winning this trade. Right now, I'm going to say the Rams win in the now because they're getting a great quarterback. They have a great defense. They got a lot of guys returning. Yeah, they're taking on a big cap hit for a guy that'll probably retire in 2 to 3 years. But I would probably take that if it guaranteed me a Super Bowl. Now, obviously, this isn't guaranteeing a Super Bowl, but you're putting the Rams in a better shot. The Rams were in the divisional round with Jared Goff as their quarterback. Now they have Matthew Stafford. So it's going to be really interesting. Also, another thing, I see the Detroit winning if they can nail those picks, if they can make trades with those picks. But honestly, right now, I still don't trust Detroit's front office. So that's why I'm going to say the Rams won the trade. They're taking a huge cap hit for a bridge quarterback, basically. And yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams as the winner of this trade.
Man, oh man. First down for you, buddy. They gave you a third down there, I think. Got your third down, but I thought you got the first down. Let's give you a first down pull on that one. I like that one. First down for Nick Labow. First down call. Chef Jack Attack. What do you think? No, wait. Sky High just came in for a landing. Sky High, give us your thoughts, buddy. Give us your thoughts, my friend.
Oh, you can't do Chef Jack Attack like that.
Give us your thoughts. You're right. I can't. Penalty flag on myself.
He deserves it.
Yeah, Sky High, go for it.
Talk.
Go for it. Good.
I'm going to be 100% honest. This is my favorite. This is going to be my favorite.
Sky High, Sky High. If you ever come onto this show and you're like 87% honest, I'm trading you for somebody. So I know you're always 100% honest, aren't you? Aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to be. I did.
Bring your honesty, man. Bring your honesty.
I did my research. You
did your research. Go for it.
I did my research here. I'm going to be 100% honest. The Rams have had some of the best drafts. And I know we're talking about the trade, but this really connects into it. And I know it's been mentioned before. The Rams have had some of the best drafts that I've seen in the past 3 years. How do you think they built that defense? That defense is filled with a few veteran guys.
And they've done it without number one picks.
Dudes coming together.
Right? They've done it without number one picks.
And they've done it without number one picks. It's with guys coming in the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th round, building starters out of that team, building a Super Bowl caliber defense, while at the same time getting an upgrade at quarterback. Now, here's what I'm going to say. The Rams have drafted so well that they're put in a position for, until those guys want their money's worth, they're given about 2 years, maybe 2-3 years of, open, like just completely opening the window for Super Bowl. Now, there's a level of uncertainty, and I think Nick brought that up pretty well. There's a level of uncertainty with Matt Stafford because he's never been to the playoffs. He's been to the playoffs once, I think, right? And he's never won a game. Or he's been to the playoffs a couple times. He's never won a game. So there's an uncertainty on how he will do with how he will handle being a successful quarterback, being on a successful team. So there's no say. But at the same time, the Lions, they're acquiring all these picks and they're acquiring all that Jared Goff. Yeah. This tells me that the Rams are showing a boost in confidence. They're saying, we're so confident that we have an actual shot to go to the Super Bowl here. We're trading away our picks. We think we're going to draft extremely well in the next couple of years. We think we're going to continue to stock ourselves up. I think they're going to go after the offense into the draft this year. But I think really for Matt Stafford, it's an uncertainty moment. For the Lions, we have to wait and see as well. The true winner of this trade is going to determine what the Lions do in the draft and what Jared Goff does, even if he starts at quarterback. Heck, the Lions could take a quarterback. The Lions could be taken for whatever what. And I heard they're trying to expend their top pick. It all depends, but right now I'm leaning towards the Rams not because of Matt Stafford trade, but because of the depth that they've built on that defensive side so that way makes it a bit easier for Stafford to kind of ease into himself and open that Super Bowl window.
Totally agree.
Man. So let me tell you. So as I come to Chef Jack Attack, let me tell you what Sky High, what you just did, and you guys aren't going to recognize this, but in time you will. But what you just did was you just went inverted, which is an old Top Gun reference to flying F-14 Tomcats in the day. And I know that people that are my age will remember that with Top Gun 2 coming out. Not that I'm doing any sort of promo for them or anything like that, but for Sky Aviation, at some point you're going to see the movie Top Gun or Top Gun 2, and you'll know that reference. But you just went inverted on this squad right here. It's pretty impressive. I did see that Norbcam is doing his piece tomorrow. So Chef Jack Attack, hold your thought, because I'm coming to you. I know you feel like I'm putting you on hold for a little bit, but make sure that if you want to watch something really fun, I'm putting his thing back up again. He had his great show last night where he put a ton of time into. Yeah, I mean, I know all these guys saw it and they were on watching it live. Just a phenomenal piece talking about the 2014 season and just the tremendous ups followed by just a brutal down. But I don't want you to fast forward to the end of the show because the whole thing is deserving of the buildup of what brings just a tremendously emotional ending that I think everybody really felt. But the way Norb puts it together, I know I had a lot of people choking up and people who were connected to it. So he's going to be doing the Super Bowl with his dad, who I refer to him as Kuromo because his first name is Kuber, I think is how he pronounced it, but it's Kuromo because Tony Romo's, they say he's the best analyst out there. But when I watch Norb's dad, I mean, it is some of the most entertaining football analysis I watch. I mean, that guy, Norb is great with what he does and his energy, and if you're lucky, he's wearing his green crazy jacket and everything else. But to me, it's Kuromo that makes that show happen. And then sometimes mom's in the back talking about, during Seahawks games that Russ is only 3'2" and he's not tall enough to play. She brings some tremendous insight and stuff. So with that, I'm going to come to to Chef Jack Attack. You're going to kind of finish things up, and then we'll wrap up the show.
Okay. I don't want to take too long on this.
No, because you'll get a penalty. Yeah, you're on the clock.
Ready?
No delay games. Go.
I know. Okay. But it might take a little too long. I'm from New York. I like to talk, so I have a lot of
you do. That's what I love about you.
Ready?
Go.
This is a fantastic trade for the Rams because Matthew Stafford is a better player for Jared Goff. And this is bad for Seattle because this makes the Rams better. I mean, the Rams were still beating us with Jared Goff. Now they add Matthew Stafford with that great defense. The only problem is this. He's not had playoff success, and he has no really playoff knowledge, no playoff experience. I mean, look at Phillip Rivers. He's retired now. Go look at Andrew Luck, who didn't have bad playoff success, never made to the Super Bowl, though. He's retired, might never come back, and is still, when he was in his prime, I mean, I still think in a way he's still a little bit in his prime. Like, if he came back, I think he'd still do good. He was the best quarterback in the league. He was so good. He was so good. But he's retired. He didn't have great playoff, no great playoff success. So it's hard when a quarterback doesn't have playoff, not experience to playoffs. Playoffs are really important. So think about it. Just think about it for a second. Great. Matthew Stafford is a better player than Jared Goff, and it's a great trade for the Rams and a better trade for the Rams. But 12 years, no playoff wins, and I know the Rams, not a great team. I mean, not the Rams. I mean, Lions. They were not a great team. But still, 12 years. Maybe
You got about 10 seconds on the play clock.
No, this is a fantastic trade for the Rams, and not so good for the Lions, but
All right, man. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, guys, man, I am so impressed with what you've brought to the table tonight, and I hope people have enjoyed it. So before I wrap up, I want everybody to have a chance, just a brief chance. It's kind of our go for two, right? You had a chance to kick the extra point or go for two. So go for two is you guys going around just briefly and saying really anything you want. You can thank somebody. You can, speak about and, pub up your shows or, your channels or anything like that. And again, I hope that everybody who's watching or gets a chance to see this, if you've stayed with it all the way to the end, super appreciative of that. But let's support these guys and the work that they're doing and the time they're putting in. And again, I appreciate that their parents are letting them stay up late with the old coach here to talk some football, And Sky High, I think I saw Gronk pop up in the background a couple times. So I'm gonna go kind of in the order that I connected with these guys from the get-go. So the Rain Man. Yep. Got about 15 seconds to give us a little bit.
All right, real quick. And I want to thank everyone on this fan panel: Coach Marsh, Nick, Sky High Aviation, Chef Jack Attack. Thanks for doing the stuff that you guys do. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, and I want to thank my family, and I saw a lot of them in the chat. Appreciate you guys, and thanks Norb. Thanks Coach Marsh. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, let's go to Chef Jack Attack. Chef Jack Attack.
I want to thank all of you guys. I want to thank Coach Bill Marsh, as I like to say. I want to thank Norb, and I do have a YouTube channel of me cooking. It's called Chef Jack Attack. I want to be a chef when I get older. I love food, and I love to cook. So I love to cook. And
is that channel's all one word? My cook. Go ahead and tell them again how they get to your channel.
Jack Attack.
No, I know Chef Jack Attack, but the My Cooking. That's just what your thing is? That you just like to do your cooking? That's it?
Yes. Yeah, that's it. That's the channel. Just me cooking, making good recipes.
Oh, yeah, me cooking. Okay, gotcha. That was my bad. I was thinking that was a bonus piece there. So, yeah, I want to see some of those things. What's your favorite thing to make? Do you have a favorite household recipe?
Steak. Well, my favorite food all time is molten chocolate lava cake.
Oh, man, you are speaking my language, my friend. Everybody just jumped off the channel because they went to go get one at the local wherever.
Hey.
All right, Sky High Aviation. Sky High Aviation, why don't you come on down for a landing and tell us a little bit about what you got going moving forward, or any channels or anything you want to pub up.
I think it's time to bring it in, yeah. I'm really happy for this opportunity. I'd like to thank, everybody, Coach Marsh, Norb, and, sub to all these dudes back here. And obviously, if you like aviation content, then my channel is for you. You can see
it is. It's got great stuff.
Sky-High Aviation. Cool. Make sure you don't sub to the wrong one, because there are some imposters out there that trying to be me. But thanks for the opportunity. Look forward to coming back next week and doing this all over again. This is what it's all about. Talking football with all four, including Coach and everybody, all four great guys, and it's awesome. And thanks, you guys.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Nick Labow.
All right. Yes. Thank you so much, Coach, for having me on. Norb, thank you for all your help in the filmmaking one-on-one classes and stuff like that. My channel is Seattle Sports Talk, as you can see in the top right and left corner of my little screen. I love your support. I'd be honored to have it. I just basically talk Seattle sports, mainly the Seahawks on my channel. And yeah, thanks again, Norb and Coach, for the opportunity to come on here, talk football with all these amazing guys.
Hey, well, it's been a ton of fun, and just appreciate the hard work that you've put in and everything else. So again, thank you guys for what you've done, and I looking forward to doing some spin-offs and some fun things, and obviously we're also thankful to Norb. So I'm going to send off you guys, but I'm going to talk for about 30 more seconds as I close the show. So take care, you guys. Enjoy the game tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you in the super chats and other things like that. But stay on the show. I want to connect with you as soon as I close off here. So stay on for just a minute. But yeah, just a lot of really fun things taking place, right? I mean, the Super Bowl tomorrow. But I want to say thank you to Elena Dahl jumping on. We've obviously thanked Norb and Mike Lorraine, his partner, business partner that came out and helped. My family, kids, everybody else, and again Norb and his dad, Kuya Burt, who will be on tomorrow, Kuromo, that we do in their show, so you want to watch that and watch his theme. And the guys that you see down below me here, Steezy, DJ Squabo, Seahawks Martin, he does some seriously funny stuff. All these guys are working so hard. Brian Apker has been a great mentor for me going through this stuff. It's fantastic. So as we break the huddle, again, reminder what we talked about earlier, what I said in terms of, encourage, challenge, warn, instruct. Those are the things that, I think great leaders do in all facets of life. And the most important thing to me is that you head out there and you take care of each other and you watch out for one another, and that you live your life one play at a time. We'll see you next time, and go Hawks.